Greetings, life forms, wherever you're receiving us. This is Justin.
And Matt.
And I am ready for some football. My name is Landon Doan.
Oh, baby. The month is here, and preseason is happening as we speak.
Yeah, baby.
But this
Watch
is
the Bears preseason action in the background.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Bears are getting the crap kicked out of them.
So the Bears are in regular season form then.
Oh,
Actually,
ouch.
I like it when they lose the preseason
Yeah.
because then they do good in the regular season.
Yeah,
Well,
preseason typically
figure.
doesn't.
Go ahead and get all those losses out of their system.
Exactly.
Because that's how football works.
Well, preseason has never been an indicator of season success. So, I would rather my team, and I don't really have a team, but if I had one, whoever's winning at the time and I'm rooting for, I would rather them lose every game in the preseason because it just does not matter at all. And usually you don't even get to see, like, you might get to see the starters in a half game here and there, but it's really
If
people.
that.
I guess that's one thing that's kind of fun about preseason. You get to see people trying to make the team, so that's cool. But otherwise, it's just an appetizer, if you will, for the season to
Yeah,
come.
like, for example, the Titans have a linebacker with the last name of President.
Oh.
And he's playing because, some of the starters aren't. And President the linebacker just intercepted the ball. So, there you go. If it wasn't for preseason, we would know about President the linebacker.
El Presidente.
Yeah,
No,
I'd vote for
LB
him.
Presidente.
LB Presidente.
LB.
Is that like Ocho Ono?
See.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it feels good to be back in the driver's seat tonight. Matt, Landon, I appreciate you all taking over for an episode, but I definitely was listening, going, "Gosh, these people, they've got to have somebody. They got to have a referee."
It's got to be a hand on the wheel.
Yeah.
We need an adult.
So,
Oh, absolutely.
but I appreciate you allowing my vacation. So that was very good.
Glad to do it. The most important question is, what'd you bring us from vacation?
Yeah. Where's our stuff?
Pass.
That's not an acceptable answer.
Nope. I want some loot.
Yep. Gimme.
Well, I brought you my smiling face. But what we are bringing the listeners today is episode 90 of Nerd News Cafe. We're doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we're 10 away from
We
triple
made it.
digits.
We are almost there. Like we are clawing this thing, crawling forward. We're going to make that 100, I promise. Powered by hammocks.
Yeah. And
Shout out to the Hammock District. And the Sheboygan Best Buy.
Oh, yeah. I like Sheboygan Best Buy.
So just to put the news that we're going to talk about in context, we are recording on August 9th. I guess you could have assumed that based on the fact we were talking about the first NFL preseason game, but now you know for sure. And we're going to look back at some of the news that we've missed over the last week or so. So, guys, what do you think about Solo? No, I'm just kidding.
Finally, we get to talk about Solo as a group.
Hey, before we get into it, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your riff.
No, it's fine.
I was just going to say,
My wrists aren't important.
before we get into it, let's talk about drinks. Matt, are you drinking anything fun tonight?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We've been doing the craft beers, and I'm like, that's so, I don't know, 2017. I'm into craft water. Okay? I have bought a Soda Stream, buddy, and I have put some H2CO3 together, and I have something a little nice called carbonated water with some orange flavor.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Delicious.
Fancy. My wife wanted a Soda Stream so badly, and I was always against it because I was like, we're never going to use that thing. It will go into storage like weeks after we get it. And so I was always against it. And then my parents bought us one for Christmas one year. And let me just say this. I was wrong. It lasted 2 months, but now it's in storage.
But it did end up in storage.
Yeah. Yeah. Just it lasted a little longer than I thought.
We go through. We were buying the Polar as I've announced 1,000 times on here, and we have bags upon bags upon bags of aluminum cans that need to be taken to recycling, and it's to the point where it looks like a hoarder's crap room with all the bags that are stacked up on the stairs. And I'm just like, honey, we can't do this anymore. And she's, I finally talked her into the Soda Stream. It went on sale at the Target. and we picked one up, and that's what we've been doing. And I have found that if you drink more water, you go to the bathroom a lot more.
It's true.
And that's not fun.
I mean, that's science, everybody.
Yeah.
That is science. What you put in is what you get out. That's what I've
That's
always
what you're
been told.
tuning in for. Hard-hitting science right here on Nerd News Cafe.
That's right. Water makes pee-pee.
We discovered that through the scientific process.
Yeah, we have audio evidence of that on one episode, too.
That's right.
There is a yes, we do. That we heard the chemical transference from man to pot.
Yep. Doing it for science, y'all.
I don't think that was powered by water, though. It was powered by some other things. And speaking of that, Landon, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I mean, beer does have water in it. So, I mean, if you think about it, I'm drinking water tonight.
Okay. But what kind of water? What flavor water?
Coors Light water. So it's practically water. I mean, let's be honest.
It is water.
So
Yeah, as I like to call it, domesticated water.
the Silver Bullet, the official beer of the NFL, appropriate for tonight.
You know what happens when you say that name too loud?
I know. I was going to say, watch out
They're
for
chicken
killer
wings
trains.
for trains.
Yeah, as their commercials prove, and whenever you crack open a beer, a giant silver bullet train of death shows up and lays waste to whatever is around you. Coors Light, drink it.
That should be the
great
slogan.
if they sent us some cool money and they're like, guys, we love the way that you insinuate that we kill people for drinking our product. Here's some dollars to go with that mouth.
Hey, I'm open to the sponsorship. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not that hard to find online. Come on.
No, you are not.
That's the truth. Well, I got to tell you, Landon, that Coors Light sounds delicious, but I think I've outclassed you tonight.
Does it?
Because
Does it really sound delicious?
it does. I'm drinking the most awarded American lager in history. I have it in my hand right now, and it sports its award right on the can. That's because I'm drinking PBR.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. 16 ounces of glory, my friends. I got myself a tall boy.
Hey, that was my nickname in college. Never mind.
I thought it was Frank and Drunk Hands.
That's adult beverage right there. Yeah, it's good.
I don't know that I could subject myself to that.
Hey, you know what? It's not that bad. Let's be honest.
Hey,
There are worse.
there
I
are
mean-
there are worse, and typically when you go to like a crappy club to see a garage band at midnight, there's usually the special they got going is like dollar PBRs, and I'm telling you, I'm all about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a different situation because that's when Cheap Matt is out in the prowl, and you literally could be selling, Coors Light mixed with PBR in a can, and I would buy it for $1.
I don't know. I might draw the line on that one.
No, you won't.
Coors Light mixed with PBR.
When that opening band comes out there and we go, "We are Fatal Flame," and they start,
Yeah,
singing,
okay,
like,
fair enough. Yeah,
straight to that dollar beer counter as quick as you can get there.
Ooh,
be like, I'm just gonna go stand under the tap and pour it.
squeezing the juice.
Yep. Just we'll settle up after I'm done.
Well, technically, if you can do it all like in one motion, that's just really one drink. They can't charge you more than for one
Exactly.
beer. So
I mean, that is true.
just be a champ.
The,
Alcohol poisoning, everybody.
But I'm only doing it for $1. I'm saving a ton of money, you guys.
whatever that guy's name was on the Man Show, you just, open the esophagus a little wider and just
Oh,
let it
yeah,
pour down
that's right.
to the bottom.
That old guy that would just inhale beers.
Yeah, he did. he's still tops
We
in
all
my
have,
book.
we all have something to
But-
aspire to, I guess.
Mhm, absolutely.
Oh gosh, lowering the bar for my goals. That's what I like to start the night off with.
I mean, that's the thing. If you set the bar low, you're probably gonna get there.
You
And
can
then guess
achieve
Just
what?
tripping over it.
You met your expectations and exceeded them.
That's what I always say about like the fact that I'm not ashamed that as a child my dream was to work at a McDonald's because that will never be out of reach for me.
Mhm. It's always obtainable.
Yeah.
When that midlife crisis comes, you're ready.
Yeah.
You're loving it.
Exactly.
When this whole numbers thing finally goes south and people stop using them, you have a backup plan.
Mhm.
By the way, I estimate we're like 4 to 5 years from abandoning numbers.
Yeah.
Which after 4 to 5 years will be referenced as Eep and Orb.
Yeah.
Because, we're abandoning numbers.
Out the door.
It's not far off. So, all right, guys, why don't we get into it? I know we got a few things that we all were kind of discussing before we got on officially, before we hit the record button and flipped on the studio live light out at the front door. So let's do this thing and let's get into it. And Landon, first I want you to tell us about God of War, because you were explaining to us what God of War Game Plus or whatever they're calling it means, and I want to hear all about it, because I know you've not only experienced it, you've finished it.
Well, if you remember back on I think it was the E3 episode, I said one of my disappointments coming out of E3 was there wasn't any announcement for new content for God of War, even a New Game Plus mode, which New Game Plus, if you're not familiar with that concept, after you beat the game on certain games will unlock New Game Plus mode, which lets you start the game over again, but it lets you keep some of the unlockables that you got through your first playthrough. So some of your armor, some skills might carry over to the beginning of the game. So
gotcha.
That's what New Game Plus mode is, and I was disappointed that God of War didn't launch with a New Game Plus mode, because I thought it would be a great title for New Game Plus. And B, I was disappointed there was no announcement for it coming out of E3. Well, surprise, surprise, this week Kotaku is reporting that God of War has announced New Game Plus mode coming August 20th. So I mean, like, not even 2 weeks away. New Game Plus mode is going to drop for free if you have the game. So I'm excited for that, and this has given me some, I guess, motivation to go back and I don't know if that's the right word, fix my save file, because you might also remember in that E3 episode, I mentioned the fact that I started a new game and it happened to save over my latest save file after I not all of the Valkyries and got all the Mist armor and the Fire World armor. So yeah, several hours that I just lost. But now that New Game Plus mode is coming on the horizon, it's given me some motivation to go back and try to right some of the wrong.
Gotcha. Okay, so the DLC you were talking about was the South Park game, right? That's what you finished. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Downloaded and finished the latest South Park, The Fractured Butthole DLC. It was focused around the character of Mintberry Crunch, which, if you watch the Coon and Friends episode, Mintberry Crunch is an alien, it turns out, and he has actual superpowers of mint and crunch, which don't make any sense. But in the context of the game and the DLC story-wise is probably 3 to 5 hours. 5 might be pushing it if you do everything available in the DLC, unlocking the badges. It takes place at a summer camp for special need kids, and it has a name which it's Camp Tardy Caca.
I was going to suggest maybe you didn't want to say it, because that could put you on some sort of a blacklist.
Didn't want to say it, but
I feel like even if you goof that name, you'd still be okay.
It's true.
I feel like if I goofed that name, I would still say something offensive. Because I mean,
right.
It's like
it's a minefield.
Like you can feel free to edit that. That's your discretion.
Right.
But it's set there, and the story is somebody is killing the counselors, a la like Friday the 13th or something, trying to get the camp shut down. So you team up with Fast Pass, which is Jimmy. You team up with Professor Chaos, which is Butters, and then the DLC introduces the previously mentioned Mintberry Crunch. And like I said, story-wise, if you do everything, it might come to 5 hours, but I enjoyed it. If you're a fan of what Ubisoft has done with the Fractured Butthole, it adds to the story, and much like the Casa Bonita DLC, the character and some of the armor and skills will carry over to any new game you start. So I've gone back and started a new game, and I have Mintberry Crunch unlocked from the beginning, and just gameplay wise, this guy's busted as hell, and his powers of Mint and Crunch make no sense except they're really, really good. But I did want to bring this up because, like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. It is a little on the short side, so I can understand. I think the price point is like $9.99, so I can understand maybe you're hesitant on that because you only get 3 to 5 hours. But gameplay-wise, I really enjoyed it. Check it out if you're a fan of what they've been doing with the Fractured Butthole, and bring it on. I'm ready for more.
Okay. Awesome. So I didn't mean to move you past God of War so quickly. I was just confused. I ended up mixing those two conversations together. Really quickly on God of War. So now that I understand this concept, I'm not unfamiliar with Game Plus, New Game Plus, because I've experienced that with other games, and it made me the one that I think of first is like Diablo.
Yeah, there you go.
Is a really good example of you beat the game and then you get to start over, but you've got your stuff. So
exactly.
So that's cool. I like that, and it's cool. You're right. I don't know why God of War didn't start with that mode, but I'm glad it has it now. So that's awesome. Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, Sony Santa Monica, which I believe is the studio that put this out, I think initially they did say it was going to ship with a New Game Plus mode in it, but for whatever reason, it was cut at the 11th hour. So this is something that they had in mind when the game was being developed, but like I said, for whatever reason, it was eliminated at the last minute. Yeah. So I'm glad they're rectifying that decision. And in the New Game Plus mode, they said enemy types will have, quote, new tricks up their sleeves. So I'm interested to see what exactly that means.
Ooh, those tricky enemies.
Gotta love some replayability, especially since it doesn't seem like we're going to have any just outright DLC in the standard sense for God of War. Yep. At least in the meantime.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, and I actually have South Park, The Fractured Butthole, and my daughter spent a lot more time playing it than I've been able to. I'd like to sit down, and I started to play it one night, and then I got sidetracked. I think I went on a Warcraft binge after that, and I never went back and got back into South Park. So I need to go back and play it because I enjoyed what I played. And now it sounds like I've got a lot more to get to, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, two pieces of DLC. I've enjoyed both of them. And funny you mentioned Warcraft. The Battle for Azeroth launches next Tuesday, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to the lore of what's been going on, but holy smokes. Like they are ramping up the stakes heading into Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah. So I work with some people who, one individual who will be taking next week off, so he has plenty of time to burn through some expansion content.
I respect that.
Yeah. So I know they've already done the 8.0 pre-patch for the next for Battle of that for Azeroth. I'm excited. I don't know. I know one of the things they're really trying to get back to is some of the old school kind of open world PvP. And the article that I was reading, it referenced. It hit me right in the nostalgia. I got to tell you, it was referencing the kinds of open world PvP that we used to have between South Shore and Tarn Mill. And I was like, oh my God, I remember those days. I spent hours wasting my time running back and forth just trying to get me a few HKs. But those were some good times. So if they could recapture some of that, that would be pretty cool.
Well, PvP is a big focus of BFA coming up, and world PvP especially. So I mean, give it a shot.
Yeah. I'm excited about a lot of the things they're bringing to the table. It'll be interesting to see how they play out, and if the concept ends up being as good as what we hope it is. But one of the things that I thought was interesting is they're doing the stat squish, and it had to happen. I mean, all of us, our little characters are out there running around with millions of hit points.
Yep.
You have to ask the question, like, when is it too much? Like, at some point, why does it matter that I have 6,500 agility? Does that matter at all? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're, and I know they've done it before, but it was time to do it again. I think one of the biggest things I'm excited about is moving on from artifact weapons.
It seems like artifacts are going to be a thing that was contained to the Legion expansion.
I liked it for a while, but I got to tell you, One of my favorite things about games like this is, upgrading my armor, upgrading my weapons, and I know
Getting
you
new
could,
gear.
yeah, and I know you could kind of do that because you had the different, for lack of a better word, skins that you could apply.
Transmogs.
Transmogs, but I mean for the artifact weapon, like you would unlock the different looks.
Yeah. It would give you like almost skills and achievement or like challenges.
Yeah, so you could maybe make it a different color or give it a different aesthetic, and
Different look or something.
and that was cool, but it just wasn't the same as like getting an awesome drop that you'd been grinding forever to get some epic weapon, and so I'm glad we're going to get back to that. So,
Yeah,
Matt,
you
tell us all
finally
about
get it.
what you think about Warcraft.
Exactly, Matt. Get in here.
Well,
What are you looking forward to most in Battle for Azeroth?
probably understanding what the hell we're talking about.
there you go.
I feel like that if I could grasp the concept of artifact weapons or stat squishing or riding the pony, these are things that mystify me, and I'm just like,
You unlock that skill at level 20.
oh, just 20? What do you ride at 30?
The same pony.
Oh. Is it Genuine's pony?
I was about to.
Yes.
That's what I thought we were talking about.
Well, that's
Once
where
you
I
get
was
level
going.
20, nothing but Genuine's Ride My Pony plays in the background. You can't stop it, ever.
Well, I mean, I don't know about any of those things. I did tell you guys that I did leap into the PS4 realm here
Yes,
recently.
congratulations!
Yes.
Welcome to the dark side.
So, yeah,
Just
basically,
pronounce the winning side.
sure. And what I do enjoy is that I have people to play with. Pretending you have friends on Xbox is really it kind of loses its thrill after like minute 2 of talking to yourself. But I've been playing Warframe, which is basically space Warcraft, and more or less. And then I've been playing, of course, Star Trek Online. So
Of course.
Get you some
Wow.
Fortnite, bro. Let's play some squad Fortnite, bro.
you can play my son on Fortnite. He's way better than I am. I'm more or less your tactics. We would never see each other.
No, that's fine. We
we
can
would-
hide
We
together.
would be hiding in bushes.
We-
the whole
We can
time.
hide together.
We will hide together. It's like a game of sardines. That's how we'll do it.
I think I spent one game without a gun because I was like, no, I don't want to go get anything because someone will
Dude,
get me.
One game, I've done it many times. When I see people dropping where I'm expected, like, hey, I'm going to go this way because no one's going this way, and I see the streaks of people going that way, I'm like, oh, crap, great. Now I'm going to be stuck in the woods, and I'm going to have no weapon, run around with my pickaxe. And believe it or not, you can still make top 10 with no weapon. Just stay away from everybody.
Hide. Yeah, get in a bush and don't move.
Yeah, that's all I do. That's my game plan.
There is honor in that.
I'm going to write a book about my Fortnite strategy, and it's really going to be very simple. Hide.
Is it going to be called an Internet's Fortnite?
Yeah. it's a strategy that's tried and true. I've yet to
Avoid.
Yeah, I've yet to get the victory royale at this point, but I have finished top 2 many times. So,
Hey, there you go.
yeah.
Top 2's good.
Hey, it works, I'm telling you. All you fools seeking out, action, you get what's coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a survivor. Now let's start singing some
Justin's,
Beyonce.
3 years running hide and seek champion. So.
Yeah, it's exactly the way.
Yeah, Fortnite really is just a very full contact hide and seek.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's like
But
tag with guns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, real quick, while we're talking about free-to-play games on the PlayStation 4, which, by the way, every game we just mentioned here free-to-play, if you are signed up for PlayStation Network, new PS Plus games this month, and one of them I'm a big fan of, Mafia 3, so check that one out.
yeah. The only thing that sometimes, and I get it, I guess, but it also, I just want to complain about it for a second, is any of the like featured games every month that you get from the PlayStation Plus membership, if you ever like discontinue PlayStation Plus, they'll take it away from you. Like, come on.
Xbox doesn't do that.
Well,
Are you positive?
Yep.
Okay. But I mean,
have them. If you download them. Now, if you uninstall them and then cancel your thing, yes, they're in your cloud as a one-time purchase, but you can't have them back because they were part of your gold downloads.
Okay.
But if you have them download, you have them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, as far as I know, even if you download them from PlayStation Plus, once you cancel that membership, you won't be able to play them anymore. So
I do think Jay is correct on that one.
yeah. So
Yes.
listen,
Yeah, but
I'm not going to sit here and tell you Sony's not greedy. I get it. That they are bastards.
Well, I think we've discussed this before, but I think Xbox entirely loads the whole game on your system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you download one of their free games, that's your day. I mean, you go ahead and start that at 9 in the morning. You come back at lunch, it might be done.
It was
Pretty
like
much.
yeah, it was like when you were downloading the Thong Song on Napster. You had to like go to bed,
Oh man,
and wake up, and hope
What are you
you had all of Cisco's
the
collection.
Thong Song? You mean all of Cisco's album, baby, and then go to bed?
No, he already said the Thong Song. He already said all of Cisco's career.
Yeah, I edited it. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, it didn't go much past the Thong Song, but I gotta tell you, when that thing comes on the radio, I still jam out to it. So that's just me.
I think I have that album somewhere.
Oh, update on President the linebacker. His first name is Gimmel.
Gimmel
President
president.
Gimmel President the linebacker.
Okay. If we could get him and Ha Ha Dixon together, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, best name team ever.
Yeah, because he's defensive too, right?
I believe he's a free safety, or at least a safety. Some sort of defensive back. I don't know. Welcome to Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John. He's Jimmy.
Not that I want to steal Tracking Trek thunder.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
But tell me what your reaction was when you heard that it was official that Patrick Stewart himself is coming back to the
And
Star Trek
how big
universe.
was your erection?
I changed my pants, and it was like I read it, and it's one of those things where you don't believe it. You're like, well, this is fake news.
Fake
and-
news. It's the worst.
So I went to the
Best captain
official.
was Janeway. Everybody knows that.
I
Sad.
checked 2 Star Trek Twitters, and I checked on the official Las Vegas news coming out, and confirmed. P. Stew will be P. Stewing it out.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be a web series, but I think he's going to give us his Logan after being in Logan.
It kind of feels that way, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
It's described as the next chapter of Picard's life. So I guess we're going to see him, I don't know, golfing.
Well, if you did you
Shakespeare, probably. That's where my money's at.
Shakespeare, yeah, him and Ian McKellar.
Yep.
Got that.
In space, dude. I would
In
so
space.
watch that. Dude, we would all
Would.
watch that.
No, if you watch the last episode, I do believe it's the last episode of TNG. They had this whole time thing where he was in the future, but he's in the past. It was a lot of stuff going on, and that's what a lot of people think that they're going to go with it. But I think that he's going to be like an admiral on something, and be that pivotal role in the background of some series. So, but they do have a Starfleet Academy coming out, so he could possibly be a part of it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like to imagine him being in like assisted living and having a Maltese that he takes care of.
Has a
Assisted
very
living in the
has a
Star
very
Trek
rigid
community?
activities schedule he has to adhere to.
Well, in the Star Trek universe, you just become a colonist, and they put you on a planet that's god awful.
10:45 is my canasta lesson. I cannot miss it.
I cannot. I will not.
I must make it so.
I would love that. That would actually be hilarious. Maybe not as a whole series, but we need some sort of just a spin-off episode of him being Jean-Luc Picard in assisted living. A
At
grumpy
least a
Jean-Luc
YouTube
Picard.
short. Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah, I would take that.
If you take his character, which I guess is himself, but angrier, in what is it, the Strongbow ads, and you just adapt that to someone in a living center, I think that you could make that work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Where's my oatmeal?
Here we are handing out $1 million ideas again.
As
Every
usual,
day.
that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of people coming back where they belong, why don't we talk about some news that we heard about maybe some back channel conversations that might be going on between Marvel Studio and Disney right now. it sounds like there's a bit of a push, as if this is a surprise to anybody, to reinstate James Gunn as the director for GOTGV3.
Let me get this out there. If for whatever reason he doesn't come back, they don't use his script, Batista in or out doesn't matter. I mean, it would matter in some form or fashion, but let's not make that a factor. Would you see Guardians 3?
I'm going to see it, but I'm going to pirate this movie.
So,
Jay?
If they don't bring him back, I'm sorry, did you say they throw out the James Gunn script?
They throw out the James Gunn. I mean, like he's erased from existence.
Erased.
We're talking Marty McFly if he doesn't play at the dance.
Or no, if you want to keep it canon, he got Thanos snapped.
Thanos snapped.
Thanos,
Okay.
if he got
by the way,
Thanos snapped.
spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, get over it. Go see a movie.
The movie's out on DVD, for crying out loud.
I saw it, for Christ's sake. You can too.
That is true, and we've already talked about it, and we're notoriously bad about talking about movies on time. So if we've talked about it, I feel like a spoiler
we're
tag
out
has
of the
been
spoiler
lifted.
zone. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't think I'd go see it in the theater. I'll see it. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't go as far to say that I'm gonna pirate it. But I will just wait until it's somewhere convenient for me to see it, like a streaming service, which is exactly what I did when as recent as 2 days ago, I finally saw Justice League.
Wow.
So that's how I'll
I
handle
told
it.
you we're notoriously bad about seeing movies on time on this podcast.
Yeah, but I finally did it. But that's how I'll handle Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I mean, how do you feel about it, Matt?
I wouldn't see it at all. I mean, it'd be a bored
At
Tuesday on Netflix for me. Because I would just, it's not going to be the same story. It's not going to make sense to me. I can feel. I mean, we've seen what, the director carousel is.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a part of that. Now, granted, maybe go get the guy from Ragnarok. I don't remember who did that one.
I've seen that come up a lot online. I think I think that would be a good replacement because I mean, like, I think we even mentioned it on this podcast well before any of this James Gunn stuff happened when we were talking about Ragnarok. It felt the most like the Guardians, or the closest to the Guardians than anything else in the MCU. So, while obviously my first choice would be to bring back James Gunn, I don't think getting the director of Ragnarok, and much like Matt, I'm blanking on his name, but I don't think that would be a bad plan B. But I mean, obviously, go get James Gunn. Just
figure it out. So, in leading with that, what do you both think is the best way to save face? They've already fired him. And you have all this backlash. So as Disney and Marvel, how do you save face? How do you make this right?
So I'm going to jump in because I got
go ahead.
I didn't get to talk about this when you guys were talking about James Gunn being fired as he was at the time. So this has been handled poorly from the start. I hate that Disney and Marvel kind of bowed to, the I don't even want to call it outcry, but I know you guys were kind of just referring to it as the troll.
faux outrage.
Yeah.
I don't want to give him a name. I don't want to give him any kind of.
He's just the troll.
Yeah, I mean,
garbage.
Honestly, the way this should have been handled, and I get the climate that we're in right now, and how sensitive people are to any news that comes out. They want to distance themselves. They don't want to be a part of it. But what should have happened was they should have suspended him, and they should have said, we are going to conduct an investigation, and then we'll make a decision once we have exhausted all of our research, and we'll bring you back our decision at that time. That's the way it should have been handled. They shouldn't have just outright fired the guy because, as you all talked about on the podcast, this was way before. I mean, not way, but it was before his time working on Guardians of the Galaxy when all this stuff happened. It was before his time with Marvel, and so there was really no reason to handle it the way that they did. And so now the question is, as you've posed it, what do they do to save face? How, if they decide to bring him back, how could they do it in a way that makes it look, I don't know, it's not going to look good, but better than what we feel like it's going to look. And it's right now I'm at a bit of a loss, because if they come back and say, they could come back and say, well, he was really sorry and we believe him. So, but he already did that. He did that before this even happened.
He did that before right when he got hired on as the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like we mentioned in the previous episode, these tweets had been brought up before, and he had already publicly apologized for them.
So I almost feel like the only thing that they could do is come out and say, look, we made a mistake, and this is on us. We are terribly sorry for what we've done to James Gunn. I honestly think they own it, though. They owe him, the corporation, Disney, the executives. Kevin Feige's the one that's really kind of pushing this in the back channels, the way I understand it.
Makes sense.
And
I mean, it's his buddy.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, like, the Guardian movies have grossed $1.6 billion worldwide, so why wouldn't Kevin Feige go and fight for this guy who not only is ringing the cash register, he's making so much money they had to buy other cash registers.
Yeah, and he's an integral part of what they've built and written. I mean,
very much
he's a brain behind it, and it's like, why wouldn't you want that talent? And there's been some reports that Warner Brothers is swooping around him.
Yeah.
If I was Warner Brothers, I would go get him.
Me too.
There's contractual problems. Yeah, there's contractual problems. They've already said to bringing him on, but you don't think that they'll pay the money to get him out of whatever if they don't reinstate him?
Absolutely.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, once again,
his weight in gold.
Yeah, once again, his two movies for Marvel have made $1.6 billion. Warner Brothers will pay whatever they have to get him out of whatever legal bind he's in. Like, this would be a good move for Warner Brothers, because I mean, like, we talked about it on the last episode, how Shazam felt so different, and it felt, I think Matt said it felt, the most closest to the Guardians of the Galaxy on the DC side as they've had anything. It's like, well, hell, if you want to go have your own Guardians of the Galaxy, go get the guy that made the Guardians of the Galaxy. Because it's like, don't get me wrong, it's like they did a great job casting the movie, and the story that James Gunn wrote was very interesting. But James Gunn made those characters interesting. Before James Gunn came around, I mean, Rocket Raccoon and Groot were a trash panda and a tree that talked.
Yep.
Now, I mean, Rocket Raccoon is one of the most recognizable characters on the planet right now. Yeah. Because of James Gunn.
Yep. He deserves all that credit.
How do you, I mean, that, Justin, you're saying they need to apologize to him personally and publicly.
Yeah. And just say we made a huge mistake, and, we're going to try to make it right. That's what I think.
Okay. So, Landon, how would you make it? I mean, how would you reinstate him if you were Disney Marvel?
I'm not going to go as far as Jay and say they publicly owe him an apology, but I do agree with him. I think Disney just needs to own up and say publicly, hey, we messed up. We bowed, or we caved to pressure from people we shouldn't have been listening to in the first place. Obviously, these tweets do not represent who James is as a person now, and he's apologized for that. And we're going to move forward on this project with James Gunn at the helm of being the director as planned before any of this happened. But it's like, I think there isn't a way for Disney to quote unquote save face in this aspect. I think some of the damage, even if you want to call it damage, I think some of it's already been done, and it can't be undone too.
That's possible. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, just bring him back. Like say. Like I said, you caved to public pressure from people you shouldn't have been paying attention to in the first place.
Yeah,
just own it.
Yeah,
if you want this to go away, own up to your mistake and move on. I say it'll go away, but if Disney reverses course, I'm sure the people that caused this storm to start in the first place would come back in full force. So who knows?
Yeah, there's one video out there I would love for Disney to go, have you seen this video? This is who you are. So, I don't know. In my opinion, just thinking about it, I don't know about the apologies. I think they should just come out and say we made a knee-jerk reaction. following the climate, but we want to change this climate. And, forgiveness is a part of the human reaction too. He's already been forgiven for this. We've kind of moved past this, and, just kind of put out there the caveat, if he makes this behavior again, of course, the repercussions, but we've seen nothing in him. And for the, commendation from everyone he works with, welcome home.
Yeah. The only reason I feel like they ought to throw the apology on top of that, the public apology, is because basically what has happened as a result of Disney making the move that they did is all of this information got dug up by everybody. There were so many people who didn't even know that James Gunn had ever even tweeted any of those things until now. And it's because of the actions that they took that everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? And all this news came out, and now I feel like they've done damage to his public persona.
I follow you.
I guess you could argue.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
I guess
I
you
don't
could
know
argue,
that they'll
though.
do it.
Yeah, no, I don't know that they'll do it. I just feel like if I were calling the shots, I feel like in my mind, I would feel like I owed it to him.
I will say this. You're a big Disney proprietor. I think with a company of that kind of power and that kind of influence, change the culture. Go through and say, like you said, we made a mistake. Knee-jerk reaction, we screwed up.
Own it.
We're bringing him back. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, Landon, own it. And how many companies do we see own anything? I mean, literally painted to a corner before they say, that. It could have been us.
It's funny you ask that because Disney literally owns everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So before we're bought by big-eared dictator himself.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm here to sell out, and I figure if we sell out to Disney, we would at least get reduced ticket prices to the parks.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know with us. I mean, especially me, because anytime Mickey Mouse makes an appearance and I have anything to do with it, he's really sweary and violent. I don't understand that.
No, but I get what you're saying, Matt. I get the point. They've got the position.
They have the opportunity here. They really have a big opportunity, I think, to be, I hate this term, be the bigger man. But, to really change the way things are being blasted into the media, and just if people are like, oh, I can't believe you pulled him in. Okay, have you never forgiven anybody of anything? Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Set the tone. Set the tone.
Yeah, Set a tone. Set a precedent. That's what I think. I think they should really be this all-inspiring, whatever their achievement level of title is to be. Make that a part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. All right. So before we wrap up today, there's something I definitely wanted to get to because I know Landon was super excited to bring this up. And and so I would be very sad if we ran out of time and we didn't have a chance to talk about a movie about a giant shark and Jason Statham. So let's get into it. Tell us all about The Meg.
I mean, you said the premise. It's Jason Statham fighting a Jurassic shark. What's not to like about this? It's based off of a series of books that I've read a couple of. Yes, don't faint. I have read something. But yeah, I mean, it's Jason Statham fighting a Jurassic shark. What's not to like? Dwight from The Office is in it. Ruby Rose, the recently cast Batwoman, is in it as well. Like, it's Jason Statham fighting a fucking Jurassic shark, you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if they give him a car to drive around in this place, and he becomes the transporter versus the Meg.
I'm not gonna lie, I would totally watch that. I mean, hell, I've already fandangoed my tickets for tomorrow, so I'm gonna go see like this is a movie I've been geeked for because if you listen to this podcast, you know my affinity for Jaws and all giant dumb shark movies, and like this is not going to be a amazing movie. Like, I say this all the time, so I'll say it again. Citizen Kane, this is not going to be. Like,
I'm looking for fun, though.
Exactly. Like I said, the premise of this movie is Jason Statham fighting a Jurassic shark.
No, I'm cool with that. I mean, and it's on, it's the big buildup for the true movie you're waiting for, which is The Last Sharknado.
Yes, which has the tagline, "It's about time."
It's about time.
Which of all the taglines, like, really, was anybody saying that about the 6th Sharknado movie? It's like, it's about time this movie came. It's like, is it really about time? Like,
it's about time I got closure.
No, it's about time this series got closure. But
it's I want to give my daughter credit when I showed it to her and we were laughing about it. She goes, "Well, it's going to be a 2-parter," and I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
Which, I mean, now that you brought up Sharknado 6: It's About Time, can we talk about the premise of it? Because
I don't know what it's about. Tell me, please.
Okay, yeah. Tara Reid is still alive, and I think Ian Ziering is in it too, because the 90s. But the premise is there are superheroes, there are dinosaurs, and there are secret civilizations, and apparently there's also time travel, because Ian Ziering and Tara Reid have to go back in time to, and I quote, "If we stop the first Sharknado, we can stop them from ever happening."
What?
How are you going to stop a tornado?
And what kind of logic is that anyway?
Really? You're asking what type of logic is it when the movie involves
I know.
superheroes, Tyrannosaurus Rex, time travel, and a tornado made of sharks?
You're right.
You're really going to question the logic.
Save the sharks, save the world.
Yabba dabba do, motherfucker.
Wow.
Oh my God. Is this, wait a minute. I see a small line of a conspiracy. So they announced a new Bill and Ted, and the new Sharknado has time travel.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Similarities.
If we can get split in the M. Night Shyamalan universe, I'm okay with Bill and Ted being in the Sharknado universe, or vice versa.
Yes, I'm ready for
it. In all of this, like, giant Sharkapalooza that I'm going through, it's made me look back in movies at some of the dumber moments that involve giant sharks. And I already mentioned it beforehand about the first one in the series, Jaws. Jaws is an amazing movie. I still put it up there as one of the best movies ever made. It's my favorite movie ever. But in the series, there are some really, really, really stupid movies. Like, for example, Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D or Jaws 3, Jaws Goes to SeaWorld. This movie, put out in the early 80s, was shot in 3D. And by the way, some of the worst looking 3D I've seen to this date. Of course, it isn't going to be Avatar. But at the same time, like, holy Lord, the 3D was not a super good job. Wasn't super well done, let's just say. But let's get back to the point where Jaws goes to SeaWorld and attacks SeaWorld.
There is a story about that movie. I don't want to get into it, but I encourage you and the listeners to seek it out. It is a banana story of just craziness and how that movie got put together.
By the way, that movie stars Leah Thompson and Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. So, I mean, there's some talent in
star power.
Iron Eagle is on the prowl.
All right, but I mean, once again, Jaws goes to SeaWorld and attacks SeaWorld. And the ending sequence where everybody is in their underwater compound, because, of course you have one of those, and there's a big giant plate glass, and very slowly, like, you see the shark move towards the glass. And when I say very slowly, it's literally just a still image of a shark moving closer and closer to the screen. And then it slowly opens its mouth and it shatters the glass and then eats people inside the underwater compound. That's how that movie ends. And that's not the dumbest thing that's ever happened in the Jaws franchise. No, that moment is saved for Jaws 4, The Revenge, where Brody's family goes to some Caribbean island. It might be the Bahamas. I don't know. But they go they go to the down south to the tropics. Michael Caine's in this one. Michael Caine has a great line about this movie. He says, anytime he's asked about it, he's like, oh, yeah, the movie I did so I could buy my house. He's never seen a second of the movie. He just did it so he could buy his house. Gotta love the honesty. But the best part of that movie, or worst part, is when the shark sticks its head out of the water after it tracks Brody's family from Massachusetts down to the tropics, because remember, this is Jaws 4, the revenge. This shark's out for revenge, so it roars. The shark sticks its head out of the water and roars.
Well, of course it does. Of course it does.
Right?
I mean, would too.
How dare me to not think that this shark would roar?
Yeah.
Like it's a T-Rex or a lion or something.
Oh, that's a great moment.
And then finally, if y'all have some dumb shark stories, get in here. Otherwise, I'm gonna dominate this conversation.
I don't have a shark per se, but I remember there was a movie I watched as a kid, and I still enjoy it every once in a while. Is Orca, the killer whale, and this brutal start of that movie. They basically pull this whale up on deck. They're whalers, whatever, and like a baby falls out of it and stuff, and like they kill the whale and the child, and then like the dad whale is like, "No, you're gonna die," and it's like a whole revenge story from the killer whale. Like he knocks an entire dock down to get to this. Was this a
sci-fi original movie?
No, that's the worst part. Actually, it's the best part. Is that this was an 80s movie before sci-fi was even discovered. So I definitely go check that one out. It's a lot of fun. But there is some fun sci-fi movies out there. Megalodon versus Python, and then
Sharktopus.
Oh yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like sharks and octopuses in crazy messed up flipper baby mode?
And then for the kiddies out there, to get them ready for Meg, what was the name of that cartoon that had the sharks as like Interstellar?
Family Guy. Wait, no, never mind.
God, I wish I could remember it, but there is a cartoon out there, series of these sharks that are like superhero-esque G.I. Joes. So
you mean street sharks?
Yep,
sewer sharks. Sewer sharks. You're talking about sewer sharks.
Sewer sharks.
I think it's either way.
Yeah, that show was. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's some prime '90s Fox Kids TV programming right there.
Yep. So those are my recommends.
Okay, well, Jay, I have one more recommend for big, giant, stupid shark movie moments. How about you?
Well, we talked about it before we started recording. We were referencing Deep Blue Sea. And the main thing that I love about Deep Blue Sea is it's got my favorite actor of all time, Samuel L. Jackson. And I have to tell you that when I saw that movie, and I saw it in the theater, I'm here to tell you I did. The moment,
was your head like a shark fin?
No, we're gonna get to that.
The moment that Sam Jackson was eaten by that shark, I was ready to walk out. I was like, you just ate Sam Jackson in the middle of his heroic, inspirational speech. Why would I
giving a speech that will in no way be ironic at all?
Yeah, why in the world would I watch the rest of this movie? But I did. But yeah, that broke my heart.
Watching it is because your hat was like a shark's fin, like Matt already said.
That movie has so much in it to tear apart that. Oh man, the blood in the water! It almost feels like an easy kill that Jaws wouldn't even waste his time on that one. So
no, and the best part is you have to remember those sharks have been genetically enhanced by man.
Yeah, we should have attached freaking laser beams to their heads.
So
I think that actually got cut in the last draft of the script.
I did a quick Google just because I felt like if I was going to dedicate something, I needed to contribute a little bit more than a non-shark movie and a cartoon.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up, but a killer whale is not a shark.
It's a shark killer. But Shark Tale is definitely one that needs to be seeked out and get your movie popcorn, because Will Smith is bringing it to the water with his fantastic performance.
Did you just say fantastic?
His fantastic performance as a reluctant shark, as
Jay,
a
end the
vegetarian shark.
podcast. We're done. I retire from broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Wow, that's all it took. Jeez, I've said some real whoppers on here, and this by no means is any kind of
Fantastic. Holy
It's
Lord,
fantastic.
man. No, it was not fantastic.
swim, not run, to your local video dealer.
Good Lord, what are you, G. Shallot? Oh my God.
You'll
Ugh,
thank me later.
God.
Wow. Can we start having a segment where Matt reviews and gives us his recommendation for crappy movies? Because that's awesome. That could be the whole show.
I only need the premise to work from. I'm not good at starting my own material, but I'm definitely good at developing it.
Woo.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not okay with that, but I guess I'm okay with that.
I'm not a Ron Howard. I'm more of his brother in that sense.
You're more of a Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. I'm good at feeling out your plot that you developed.
We're going to give you a joke award, and you're going to take it to heart to the point where we have to retire it.
Yes, that's exactly what needs to happen.
Seriously, that is one of the most heartfelt moments of television I've ever seen, him accepting that award.
Clint Howard? He's a national treasure.
No, his brother is.
Well, I mean, they kind of go together. You can't have one without the other.
I like Clint.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, shark movies.
Yeah, go ahead and
Samuel
wrap it up.
LL Cool J's hat is like a shark's fin. Deep Blue Sea. There we go.
That was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
His hat was like a
Seriously,
shark fin.
I recently rewatched this movie because it was on. No, it's on Netflix because of course it is. And the entire time, I'm just talking about how my hat is like a shark's fin. And my girlfriend finally says, because she had never seen the movie, she's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like, just wait. So I make her watch this entire movie just so we can get to the credit sequence where LL Cool J raps about how his hat is like a shark's fin. Deepest, bluest, his hat is like a shark's fin. And she looks at me and she says, "I can't believe I watched this entire
Just for that.
movie for that."
It wasn't worth it.
Here's the thing, though. I'm kind of disappointed in LL Cool J because I think he's been on CSI New Orleans long enough to develop some kind of crime song where, you know, his hand is like a magnifying glass or a scanner, or I don't know what they do on there, but you know.
But that's not nearly as exciting as having a piece of clothing representing a shark's fin.
Very true. I'm just saying he'll never hit that Mount Rushmore of music happiness. But
I mean,
you know,
let's
I
be
feel like he
completely
deserved it.
honest. None of us are ever going to hit the Mount Rushmore of feeling the awesomeness of having a hat like a shark's fin.
No, that is
I mean,
absolute truth.
That's unfortunately true. And while we're talking about this song, which is truly a masterpiece in every sense of the word, I mean, it has sharks, it has lyrics about hats, it has lyrics about hats being shark's fins. I mean, what more could you want from a song?
It's got to be up there as one of the best theme songs performed by a star of the movie, right up there with Wild Wild West. I'd put that up
Oh,
there. Yeah.
goodness. Wow,
Which
good
Wild
pull,
Wild West,
Justin.
of course.
Wiki.
I'm a big fan of movies where they let the star rap or sing the title theme. I'm down with that.
So you like all of Will Smith's movies?
Yes,
from
every
the 90s?
Will Smith
Oh.
movie. Yes.
I was going to say all of Adam Sandler's, but
Yep.
yeah.
Down with that too. All of it. 8 Crazy Nights. I'm on board.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
that's,
Popeye's
the
Chicken
one he
is
did for
fun.
Spanglish was really sad.
That movie.
And Cobbler. Yeah, that one really got you in the souls. Oh.
Speaking of hitting
my
you in
God.
the soul hitting experience that is LL Cool J song about his hat being like a shark's fin also includes the amazing lyrics, quote, "The ocean is haunted and he is, quote, the Gotti of the deep."
Oh, goodness. Is he ever?
And his
I
hat
feel
is
like
like a shark's fin. Do you
He
realize?
does. He probably does own quite a few reefs that he's really wrangling those fish for some clams.
I
Which,
could be.
by the way, that was Thomas Jane's character's occupation. He was a shark wrangler because that's the thing, apparently.
Yep.
One
With a
who
hat
wrangles sharks.
and a rope.
I could be wrong, but wasn't there a period of time, and maybe it was when this movie came out, and I don't know, maybe LL Cool J set the trend where people started wearing their hats like that. Like, they would take a ball cap and, like, wear it to where the bill was pointed up, like, down the middle of their head. Do you remember? I've seen it.
I've seen that. I don't know if LL Cool J started that trend, but we do have a podcast, so whatever we says goes. So
Well,
he totally started
I'm going to
that
give him
trend.
credit for it.
Sure.
I think it started right with Deep Blue Sea.
I don't think anybody's going to take that credit from him. So
No,
let's go
because
ahead
his
and
hat
credit
is like a
to-
shark's fin, damn it.
It sure is. It sure is. You know, you'd think he would have carved that bill up a little bit to give it that thin look. But I guess we're just disappointed to the gills with that.
God.
This conversation's been rife with disappointment.
Yes! Something, pun something.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know where we're. Ugh.
No, it's smile, you son of a...
Oh, true.
Oh, that's there you go.
You son of... Hey, there we go. I did it.
We brought it back to goodness.
Yeah.
By the way, it was Street Sharks was the name of the show.
Yes.
And I just want to mention this because, guys, I think we've all forgotten that the original September 11th was in 1994, and that's when Street Sharks first aired.
Mm-hmm. Which, of
Nice.
course, as we all know on this show, we're approaching the 10-year anniversary of September.
Yeah, we
11th.
are. It's coming up, guys. Never forget
Never forget.
Street Sharks. I think clearly it's time to wrap the show up.
And in closing, my hat is like a shark's fin.
Our hats are all like shark's fins, and they always will be in our hearts.
Cut in the water with this comedy.
Yeah,
Also, R.I.P. Jaws ride. We miss you.
true story. Good.
You
Seriously,
took our hearts.
that ride was awesome. In Universal Florida.
Where else would they have had it?
Universal Hollywood.
Or the real Amity, wherever that's supposed to be. Was that supposed to be in like Massachusetts or something? I don't know where Amity
Yeah,
was.
yes, somewhere along the New England coast.
Sick, bro. Got a shit cry.
I didn't say New Jersey. Amity, New Jersey. By the way,
I thought you said Massachusetts.
I did. But that's Boston. You were doing Boston. I got
Yeah,
you.
it's Boston, bro.
I'm with you. I was thinking more Jersey Shore. While we were
By the way, if Jaws 5 includes him meeting the cast of Jersey Shore, that's going to be the most popular movie ever.
Oh my gosh, I watched that first opening. Chomp, 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 chomp.
But if he eats Snooki, he'd probably get some sort of horrible disease.
I'm gonna say that the shark dies at the first of it from food poisoning, and then just because they're toxic people and they probably survive on their own pickling, but
He bites into Snooki and blows up like at the end of Jaws 1
So-
for some reason.
and then it's a revenge tale of how the other shark that it was his mate was trying to punish all of Jersey for that act.
I really hate to tell you all, but this has already been done because in 2012 there was a movie that came out called Jersey Shore Shark Attack.
What the shitting shit.
I'm not
Did
kidding.
they-
Seriously?
The Jersey Shore people, though.
Jersey Shore Shark Attack?
Yep. And as this is described in an article on Screen Rant, and it starts out by saying, the term losing faith in the entirety of humanity gets tossed around a lot these days.
Off to a great start.
So
Yeah.
So far, so good.
if we're bringing up some genres here, I did in my Google search, I found one called Jurassic Shark, where they tried to replicate the Jurassic Park symbol and everything. Seems cool. And then they had Dark Tide, which they're trying to be gritty, and it kind of looks like a CSI Miami episode. But what really interests me is we have two movies that I feel that we could expand on. Sorry, three movies.
Sorry, I just saw the logo for Jurassic Shark.
Did you? It's the greatest. They did a great job. I would say right now, whatever they paid that graphic artist was not enough.
I'm willing to bet his creative process was a bottle of gin and Microsoft Paint in 10 minutes.
Microsoft Paint.
Rocking a
For whatever reason, I
1.5
just
out of
imagine
10
someone
on
drinking
IMDb.
paint.
Oh.
So we have 3 movies here that I feel that we could go forward even farther with. Swamp Shark, Sand Shark, and Snow Shark. And
I got it. Swamp Sand and Snow Shark.
I feel like there's so many other climates that we could introduce sharks to.
Sure.
You know?
I got it.
Volcano Shark.
Cul-de-sac shark.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the mall.
Mall Shark.
Yep.
Paul
We had
Blart
Land
Mall
Shark.
Shark.
Oh, Hi.
Not topping that. Shut the podcast.
Yeah, that's
We're not
that's-
making it to 100. We peaked at 90.
That's the crossover that we've all been waiting for.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that pretty much kills all my puns.
Oh, I'm crying.
All right, let's go out on top, guys.
Yep.
Before we get out of here, let's do some plugs. Matt, tell us all about Tracking Trek Pod.
Tracking Trek Podcast is a podcast that follows the voyage of the Discovery, and if you are interested in that show or Star Trek in general, we are covering it. We're also dropping a lot of mini episodes right now. We're just doing all the news coming out of Las Vegas and all the things like you heard about P. Stu returning in the captain's chair, possibly. But we are definitely dropping little episodes, and we have a sweet treat for you. We did watch the first Star Trek from '79 with Shatner, and I had forgotten how delightful this movie was, and I relished in the moments of Thomas watching it. So it's entertaining. If you care to hear about that or care to hear about Discovery or what we think of Star Trek, jump on in Tracking Trek Podcast at Tracking Trek Pod.
Nice. Loving the Tracking Trek Pod. Everybody jump on there. Landon, what have you got going on?
Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find the latest from me. 280 characters at 280 characters at a time. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com. Buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt.
That's where you can find the exclusively posted Game of Thrones talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk, where myself and Hunter Reeves have a episode-by-episode breakdown of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. That is Season 7 rundown, and whenever HBO decides to bless us with more Game of Thrones, I'm sure Hunter and myself will return. In the meantime, myself and Justin Krutzinger, we talk about the sweet science of professional wrestling on Near Fall Radio. That is a somewhat bi-weekly podcast about professional wrestling, mostly the WWE, but with the All-In pay-per-view coming up over Labor Day weekend. I am going to be talking a little bit indies on the next episode, so be sure to subscribe to that in the iTunes store and rate and review. 5 stars only. 5 stars or GTFO. And yeah, that's it.
Remember, if you give us a 5-star review, I will do a live wrestling promo on one of our episodes where I will take you down. And it's a lot of fun. So
just ask Chip Bricks.
You even have to change your name potentially.
Legally and everything, yeah.
So, guys, I don't know if you saw it, but I started sharing my screen because
I'm dying. I almost freaking spelt it out in the middle of his promo.
So Google never fails us. If you'd like to do an image search, just search up Paul Blart Mall Shark. Shout out to Hannibal Hazmat.
You the truth.
They have his head up. It's not even forward.
Oh, that's awesome.
I believe he's riding a Segway. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. The only thing I have to plug is a little podcast called the Monday Morning Monorail. If you are a super nerd like me and you enjoy theme parks that were opened by large anthropomorphic mices, then you might enjoy
it. Dummy. It's pronounced mouseses.
Mouseses. Then you might enjoy that show. We have a good time talking about it. My wife and kids join me on that show, and actually, believe it or not, this guy, I don't know where we found him, but his name's Landon Doan. He's also on the show as well. So
what an a-hole! Wait,
what a hobo!
He's showing up everywhere.
That one is true. I'm like 2 weeks from being a hobo.
Well, the
Please
good
send
news,
money. No, I'm kidding.
good news is I heard Matt has a lot of cans he could donate to you.
I do. I have several bags, like hoarder level cans that you can come collect.
Yeah, Matt and his mountain of aluminum is going to keep me with lights on for at least
Dude,
another
those
month.
things are worth a couple cents a piece. You know, you'll be all right.
Take it to the right state and you get more.
That's right. So, yeah, check us out. We're on all the social medias, Monday Morning Monorail or Morning Monorail, either way. And join us. We're having a good time. We'd love to have you on the monorail with us. But this has been Nerd News Cafe, and we are also everywhere that you can imagine and everywhere that you'd want us to be. We are on iTunes. We are on all of the distribution channels. I don't know how you're listening to us now, but you found us. But we're also on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and we got an email, nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. We're on YouTube. You can go dig up our live video episodes that we did.
All three of them.
All three. And then we decided to scrap it because it was just terrible. Just terrible. But
Trinity.
but they were pretty fun.
They were fun to do. There was a lot of visual elements that were entertaining.
Yeah. That was worse than it was worse than public access television, if you can imagine.
Yeah. One level below SCTV.
Yeah. So you can go check that out. But we've enjoyed having you. We'll be back again as soon as the bat signal is in the sky. Until then, we've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed us.